Before we begin this commentary, I just want to say thank you all for helping me get to 100 subscribers. You guys are amazing, and that's one of the major reasons I keep doing this. Tonight's commentary is going to be on Raven Pines, Commentaries and More, a channel which tells you what kind of content it does in its name. Although, really, that could encompass any kind of content, because commentaries and stuff that aren't commentaries, aka and more, could mean anything, but hey, what do I know?
Hi friends, Raven Pines here with a short commentary for you. It's been a while since I have done one of these, hasn't it? Anyways, let's get to the discussion at hand. Today's subject is Night Eye. He has been in the SEC since 2016. Recently, he did a commentary on Umbris' commentary on his co-op commentary with Mullintard on Mystic Umbreon's list of his top 10 worst Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Do you have any other vocal inflections besides upbeat peppy girl? Because that, put together with the fact that basically everything you've said so far has been an incredibly short, incredibly stubby sentence, without any real added flair or personality, can easily make your vocal delivery come off as, well, I don't want to say boring, but repetitive. You sound like you're on autopilot as opposed to this being how you actually feel while recording this. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're faking your upbeat demeanor or anything. That would be ridiculous. I don't have evidence of it. But it's easy to see how somebody could come to that conclusion through just listening to you and noticing that this is basically the only way you talk. I'd recommend varying your vocal inflections more. A little can go a long way in this case.
Since I am just starting to get into Pokemon, I will not be focusing on the bulk of the comm talking about it. What I'll do instead is go over his interjection regarding Umbris' final thoughts that did not make it into her video, but rather the description of said video, specifically the part about co-ops. I should preface this by saying that Umbris herself has stated that she did not like those final thoughts, both from what I've heard from her and in the video Foxwell covered.
Okay, quick question. Why did you feel the need to play that entire clip when only the third text box of the 3 that Umbris had on screen during the clip you played was actually important? For that matter, considering what you showed was nothing but text, why even stop the video to put that clip in when you could have just as easily put a screenshot of that one text box over your audio? In fact, here, I'll do it for you.
I should preface this by saying that Umbris herself has stated that she did not like those final thoughts, both from what I've heard from her and in the video Foxwell covered.
My final thoughts that didn't make it into the video. Okay, so you two have been under my radar forever now, and well, this video is, to put it bluntly, probably in my top 10 worst videos I've covered list if I ever decide to make one.
Okay, so quick question. You said you were only going to be talking about Foxwell responding to Umbris on the nature of co-ops, and if that's the case, then what's the point of showing all of Umbris' final thoughts, including the parts that have nothing to do with co-ops? Also, you probably noticed that black censored bar in Raven's video. Going back to Umbris' description, those are the words, hang myself. In a comment, Raven said she did this because she wanted to be sensitive to those who have triggers for neck injuries, which I completely understand and do not have issue with. I only mention it because there's going to be an example in a minute that I do actually take issue with.
As for you two working together, I think what you guys are missing is chemistry. I wouldn't mind you two having silly banter and a few interjections. It'd certainly fix this poor excuse for a co-op. That's why I kept memming on it so much. Speaking of which, I can't be the only one who felt like this commentary had more of Melon Tart than Foxwell. When making a co-op commentary with someone, it is highly recommended that you and your partners have equal screen time. It'd make the video feel like a genuine collaborative effort. I want to see the both of you improve. It's just that right now you two seem to be in a very iffy place.
We lacked chemistry, huh? That honestly feels a bit subjective. Or do the parts where she when I react out of fear of her inflicting physical harm upon me not count?
Yeah, this is the part where her cutting something out actually does bother me. Here's the full clip from Foxwell's original video.
We lacked chemistry, huh? That honestly feels a bit subjective. Or do the parts where she bites my head off when I react out of fear of her inflicting physical harm upon me not count?
What you cut out was him giving an example to back up his point, which is actually actually important. This isn't like Umbris's hang myself comment where you could easily argue it's gratuitous and as such adds nothing. This is actually a center point of Foxwell's argument.
I don't know, felt like a passable dynamic to me.
That's neither actual chemistry nor a good dynamic. That's just your co-op partner being a dick. Look at it this way. You'd have the Three Stooges poking each other's eyes and beating the shit out of each other anytime they get into some sort of wacky situation. Is it a good dynamic in real life? No, of course not. Is it a good dynamic in a slapstick comedy series? Yes. That dynamic works because it's just three brothers just being silly with each other in a lot of different ways. Not in the case of a co-op, commentary or no. If the dynamic is just your partner being violent to you and you just doing nothing, then that's not a good dynamic at all. It just makes it feel like someone needs to call the police if they see stuff like that happening.
Okay, why? You say this is a good dynamic for a slapstick comedy, but given that all the examples Foxwell gave of him and Mellon interacting were violent, one could easily come to the conclusion that a slapstick comedy is what they were both intending their commentary to be. Do you believe that commentaries are incapable of doing slapstick comedy correctly? Well, if so, then you don't explain that in the slightest. Or was the dynamic in those Three Stooges shorts fundamentally different from the dynamic that Foxwell and Mellon had in their co-op in some way that made one work and the other not? Lastly, you call the Three Stooges just brothers being silly. You do know they were injured multiple times while recording their shorts, right?
Maybe try a better dynamic for co-ops than just something that can be taken as violence. And no, you and your co-op partner lacking chemistry is not subjective. It is an objective problem with the co-op because it feels like you were pushed to the side with Mellon hogging the spotlight.
It's an objective problem because it feels a certain way, but feelings are subjective by their very nature.
Not to mention, the times that you two interact were kinda lacking. At least have the bare minimum when it comes to more interaction than none. You don't really have to do a whole lot, but the least you could do is have an actually good dynamic and more interaction.
So basically, your only suggestion is do more. I'm not sure how to respond to that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to cover, so final thoughts? I thought this commentary was going to be longer. I really did. Good night, and good luck.